everyone, it's Liam Kettleson here as we continue our journey of the Harry Potter franchise with the fifth installment of this franchise called The Order of the Phoenix as we move into the second half, which is absolutely crazy. It feels like yesterday since I began my journey with the Philosopher's Stone, and I'm excited to see what happens in this movie, especially given how things ended with the Goblet of Fire, because it had a very different atmosphere compared to the first three films. The first three films had its moments of tension, but overall there was this happy atmosphere in terms of the Harry Potter world leaving the movies. Not so much with the Goblet of Fire. There was a more depressing atmosphere. Voldemort's back. Cedric died in the tournament, thanks to the assistance of Barty Crouch Jr. And yeah, like I said, it was just a very, very depressing and somber ambience. So yeah, and as we move into the second half, especially with Voldemort's return, I do expect things to get even more devastating. I do expect this, especially with how darker the films are getting as well. I am expecting things to not be I feel like we are done away with the majority of the happiness. We'll get our bouts of happiness, but I do expect a roller coaster of emotions as we move into the second half of this franchise. But yeah, overall thoughts as we move into the halfway point regarding my experience with this franchise. I'm really loving it. I mean, my younger self would be completely bewildered about the new love that I have for this franchise and how quickly I am becoming a huge fan of this. I'm really loving what we're getting, and I'm just loving. The films have never disappointed me, whereas some films have been better than others. I've just been loving every film so far, and the characters, even the characters you love to hate, they've got great characterization, and the stories, they do feel completely different, and it's just a marvelous, very beautiful, very beautiful order of films that we're going through. So I am really loving what we are getting so far, and I'm a huge fan of it at the minute. So yeah, like I said, my younger self would be completely bewildered, but times change and so do we. So yeah, with that said, let's get into the fifth movie of this franchise, The Order of the Phoenix. I'm scared, I'm excited, I'm nervous, I'm ready. This is Harry Potter Order of the Phoenix. Let's go.
Is she dead? Is she a dead Potter?
Make him disintegrate. Ooh. I don't think that's Harry, but you bitches want to run. There we go, that's our hit. I mean, you could let the other Dementor get... I'm kidding. I'm Harry!
From Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Hoping you are well, Mafalda Hopkirk.
I mean, he might be a muggle, and we don't like Dudley.
Justice.
But screw you. But did you expect him to let him die?
Persuaded the minister to suspend your expulsion pending a formal hearing.
A hearing?
Uh-huh.
Don't worry,
So he's
Harry,
gotta go
we'll
to
tell you
trial.
When we get back to headquarters.
Shh. Not hearing, Nymphadora.
Don't call me Nymphadora.
Oh.
Have to act now.
And Lupin! Lupin's back! Hey, I'm glad to see Lupin and Sirius again.
Bit peaky, but I'm afraid dinner will have to wait until after the meeting's finished.
I love Mrs. Weasley.
No time to explain. Wait upstairs.
That's everything.
Let the man breathe, Hermione.
And this hearing at the ministry. It's just outrageous.
It is.
I've looked
It's
at this and I
unfair.
can't expel you. It's completely unfair.
Hermione's letting out her inner Anakin.
So what is this place?
But this is injustice.
The Order of the Phoenix.
It's a secret society. Dumbledore formed it back when they first fought you-know-who.
He couldn't put any of this in a letter, I suppose. I've gone all summer
Bit
with that
risky.
scrap of news.
There needs to be a wireless option.
Hermione, I hate your cat.
Oh man, but the game's dropping. Oh my god, will you stop?
To use magic now does not mean you have to whip your wands out for everything.
The Minister thinks Dumbledore's after his job.
But that's insane. No one in their right mind could believe that Dumbledore...
Exactly the point. Fudge isn't in his right mind. It's been twisted.
No, he's completely moronic.
Now, fear makes people do terrible things, Harry. The last time Voldemort gained power, he almost destroyed everything we hold most dear. Now his
You need to
return
keep a
will
blanket
force
on the
Minister
public.
to do almost-
He's just a boy. You say much more and you might as well induct him into the order straight away.
Good, I want to join. If Voldemort's
I mean-
raising an army, then I want to fight.
I mean, if this order was established in retaliation to Voldemort, then I think it's best maybe not as much include Harry as a concrete member, but maybe an honorary member, since he's centralized.
Here we are. I've never used the visitor's entrance before. Should be
Is
fun.
it a TARDIS? Not his first time entering a police box.
Dumbledore.
You got our message that the time and place of the hearing had been changed, did you?
I must have missed it, but by a happy mistake, I arrived at the Ministry 3 hours early.
They tried to get this started without him.
I believe that the Dementors were there by coincidence, Minister.
I'm sure I must have misunderstood you, Professor. Dementors are, after all, under the control of the Ministry of Magic. It's so silly of me, but it sounded for a moment as though you were suggesting that the Ministry had ordered the attack on this boy.
Well, you could have a mole.
It's become practice to hold a full criminal trial to deal with a simple matter of underage magic.
Those in favor of conviction.
Nay. Dumbledore, you've won this.
Cleared of all charges?
Dumbledore, you aced it. Oh.
It's been 14 years. And still a day doesn't go by. I don't miss your dad.
These scenes
Do you really think there's going to be a war series?
where he reflects on his parents really tugs at the heartstring.
Feels like it did before.
Keeps away the narwhals. Hungry. I hope there's pudding.
Margot.
No idea.
Okay. Luna's very intriguing already.
Progress for the sake of progress must be discouraged. Let us preserve what must be preserved, perfect what can be perfected, and prune practices that ought to be prohibited.
This girl wants to make herself stood out, like, look at me. But to be fair, they're just making shit up as they go along, because they don't know shit. They don't know what happened with Cedric. I just feel so bad for Harry, like, with the crap that he's receiving and the anxiety that he's having with his dreams.
Is a lie.
It's not a lie. I saw him. I fought him.
Detention, Mr. Potter.
So according to you, Cedric Diggory dropped dead of his own accord.
Cedric Diggory.
Exactly.
Was a tragic accident.
It was murder. Voldemort
Nobody
killed him.
knows
You
but
must know
Harry.
that.
The tabloids don't know shit, and you don't know shit.
See me later, Mr. Potter. My office. Deep down. You deserve to be punished. Don't you, Mr. Potter?
Is this bitch campaigning to get on my bad books because she's doing a spectacular job?
Dear Padfoot, I hope you're all right. It's starting to get colder here. Winter is definitely on the way.
Winter is coming.
In spite of being back at Hogwarts, I feel more alone than ever. I know
This is
you,
it. It's breaking
of all
my
people,
heart.
will understand.
Unfortunately, all my shoes have mysteriously disappeared. I suspect Nargles are behind it.
Nargles. Bad Nargles.
If I were you-know-who, I'd want you to feel cut off from everyone else. Because if it's just you alone, you're not as much of a threat.
That's it. And that is why I think the Ministry is working with Voldemort. It adds up. I like Luna.
I will not stand for is disloyalty.
Disloyalty?
Put her down. Just put her down.
Things at Hogwarts are far worse than I feared. Cornelius will want to take immediate action.
Cornelius can choke on his own shit, okay?
That correct?
Yes.
But you were unsuccessful?
Obviously.
The children are having time of their life seeing Snape getting interrogated. But who does this bitch think? Oh, who does she think she is?
Actually, I can.
I want to. You know what?
Oh, there are several things I would like to say.
I've got a thing to say. I want to Wingardium Leviosa her to the freaking sun. She is a bitch.
You do not, however, have the authority to banish him from the grounds. That power remains with the headmaster.
For now.
Oh no. I swear to God, she's gonna get appointed minister.
Professor!
I'm gonna freaking lose it.
Professor! Professor Dumbledore! Professor! Professor Dumbledore!
Look, it all sounds great when you say it like that, but the truth is most of that was just luck. I didn't know what I was doing half the time. I nearly always had help.
Yeah, but
He's just being modest.
No,
fighting off the Dementors is very tricky, so it's an extraordinary feat for someone his age.
Facing this stuff.
Harry, what happens if Umbridge does find out?
Who cares? I mean, it's sort of exciting, isn't it? Breaking the rules.
Yeah.
Who are you and what have you done with Hermione Granger?
Anyway, at least we know one positive thing that came from today.
What's that?
I mean, we could all be in agreement, even the...
Cho couldn't take her eyes off you, could she?
Right. Come on then, Nigel. Give it your best shot.
Come on, Nige. Come on, Hermione. You have to root for my girl.
Thank you. I'll let her do that. It's good manners, isn't it?
Okay.
I don't think your needs are... Oh, Ginny! Damn, she's acing this. Good on her. it's gonna happen at some point, isn't it? Neville!
Probably full of nargles, though.
What are nargles?
No idea.
There we go. It was happening.
Flicked because Umbridge is threatening to sack her mum from her job at the Ministry, and frightened of failing her OWLs because she's so busy worrying about everything else.
She's in a right tidal
One
wave.
person couldn't feel all that. It'd explode.
Just because you've got the emotional range of a teaspoon.
Me. This better not be something that happens in the future.
Dream, were you standing next to the victim?
Albus, it was close, but they think he'll make it. What's more, the Dark Lord failed to acquire it.
Oh, thank you. Next we need...
Look at me!
It needs...
What's happening to me?
He needs answers.
From access or
clemency.
In these lessons, I will attempt to penetrate your mind. You will attempt to resist. Prepare yourself. Let Chilliman
build that immunity stronger. It's kind of like anti-scrying.
Concentrate, Potter. Focus.
What if the reason for it is that I am becoming more like him? I just feel so angry all the time. And
there are those parallels that have been presented in previous movies.
What if
the world isn't split into good people and Death Eaters? We've all got both light and dark inside of us. What matters is the power we choose to act on. That's who we really are.
That's one hell of a quote.
Harry, time to go.
When all this is over...
See, I love him more and more.
I mightn't bother unpacking at all.
She is so up her own arse. Oh, for God's sake. Could she be any more extra? Say, is this Azkaban? Damn, Azkaban.
The 10 high security. Sirius Black. Cousin of escapee Bellatrix Lestrange.
Oh yeah, that was the cousin he was speaking about, wasn't? Oh God. So that's great.
Used the Cruciatus curse on my parents.
Oh.
Tortured them for information, but they never gave in. I'm quite proud to be their son, but I'm not sure I'm ready for everyone to know just yet.
Can I just say I'm glad we're getting a bit of development on Neville.
I'll make short work of this. Bombard.
I'm seriously losing the will to... Cho?
Get them! I have no intention of going to Azkaban.
Enough of this.
Disintegrate them. Good on Dumbledore.
Boys and girls are not permitted to be within 8 inches of each other. Those
I'm heading out. Fuck this shit.
Do you? That's your new friend, Hermione.
Rob! Put me down.
Ooh, the Queen has told him.
Now.
Life isn't fair. Your blessed father knew that. In fact, he frequently sought to.
My father was a great man.
Your father was a swine.
Protego!
Oh! Harry just pulled the reverse Uno on him.
Snape! Expelliarmus!
Nice one, James.
James, finish him off. Impedimenta.
Oh shit, that's his... Bad day for you. Oh! Oh man. I love me some Agents of Chaos. And the twins are just... Please can one smack her head and knock her unconscious?
I will, but first you will fetch it for me.
Serious? Serious? Oh no.
It's too dangerous.
When are you going to get it into your head? We're in this together.
That you are.
Oh,
Cool, let's
bitch!
trying to help the Weasley girl.
You were going to Dumbledore, weren't you?
No.
You sent for me, headmistress.
Snape,
I
yes,
swear to
the
God.
time has come for answers.
Get a kick in the face.
The Cruciatus curse ought to loosen your tongue.
That's illegal.
What Cornelius doesn't know won't hurt him.
Right, so you think you're... This is it. You think you're better than everyone.
Tell her, Harry!
Tell me what?
Well, if you won't tell her where it is, I will.
Please tell me
Well,
this is a
what
distraction.
is? You were trying to trick me. You know, I really hate children.
And I hate you. Oh, wait. That was my second guess. The centaurs. Because they are not happy.
You have no business here, Centaur. This is a ministry. Do something. Tell them I mean no harm.
I'm sorry, Professor.
No, let her.
Let's not tell lies.
What are you doing? I am senior undersecretary.
Bye, Toodles, bitch.
With the power to vanquish the Dark Lord approaches. And the Dark Lord shall mark him as his equal, but he shall have power the Dark Lord knows not. For neither can live while the other survives.
Prophecy. Why did Voldemort need me to come and get this?
You dare speak his name?
You filthy half-blood!
It's all right. It's just a curious lad, aren't you?
She's strange.
Only be retrieved.
Now!
Leave Luna alone. Jenny, wow. Something tells me cleanup department is not going to be happy. Oh, don't tell me he's alone. No, get the... No! Can't let his friends die. But what if he's bluffing?
Get away from my godson.
Serious! Serious!
What? No, I'm staying with you. You've done beautifully.
Serious.
Take it from here.
Oh god, I'm scared. I'm scared. Yeah, you can't. Not against all of these, Sirius. No, 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 no. No. No, no, no! No, no, no!
Are on their way, by which time I shall be gone, and you shall be dead.
No, no. Oh my god, oh my god! Ooh! Water defeats fire! Oh my god, I could not deal with that. Like, we've just lost Sirius, I couldn't deal with losing Dumbledore either.
Look at me.
This is Harry's fears, like...
Isn't how you are like. It's how you are not.
Yeah, what Sirius said. Oh my god. You're not like him.
And you'll never know love. Or friendship. And I feel sorry for you.
Holy shit. Fuck. Oh! Oh! Look what's legit!
He's back.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Your friend saved you. After all these years, after all you've suffered, I didn't want to cause you any more pain. I cared too much about you.
I was going to say props to Dumbledore. He's just a very caring, humble individual who... He is just a decent dude. We stand him so much.
Are you sure you don't want any help looking?
That's all right. Anyway,
I mean, they do have a bit in common.
things we lose have a way of coming back to us in the end. Always in the way we expect.
The shoes! Up knuckles! kind of a happy note, but again, we're getting into that somber territory because, I mean, Harry does have his own family, but he's lost. Oy. Well. Yeah. That was, I think that battle at the end was my favorite. In all the battles that we've had, in all the finales we've had, for the film, like the finale battle, I think that was my favorite. Especially when Voldemort was getting the upper hand on a kind of a paralyzed Harry and gaining, seeping into his memories, and then Harry repelled him with that happiness. It was, yeah, and of course the Order of the Phoenix versus the Death Eaters was very, very intense. And then Voldemort and Dumbledore itself. We had three, and not just that though, but the prophecies. That final stretch, brilliant. It just left you on the edge of your seat and left you like kind of out of breath at times because it was just intense. I don't know. I would go as far to say this is probably, I wouldn't say my Prisoner of Azkaban's still my favorite in the narrative sense, but I don't know. I placed this between second and third because we had some very interesting characters introduced, those you loved and those who you fucking hated. I liked the idea of there is this disbelief regarding Voldemort's return, and you've got Harry needing that company. He's stronger with company, and more vulnerable without it. And it kind of does borrow from like the idea of Harry's status in the beginning at Hogwarts kind of did borrow from borrowed from the last movie where everyone was like cold to him. Everyone was in this film because the journalists who didn't have a freaking clue whatsoever, nor did the Ministry of Magic, to be fair. And then you saw Fudge be like, "Oh my god, he is back!" It's like I'm a completely stupid moron who's up my own ass. Yeah. I hate them, but I hate. See, this is it, right? I do hate Fudge. He is moronic. He is corrupt, but I don't hate him as much as Dolores Umbridge. I fucking wanted to yeet her. I hated her. I despised her. I literally have no care about what happens to her. Like, her fate. She dies. Big deal. Karma. But, there was a lot riding for this film. Like I said, it kind of, as I was continuing from the comparisons to the third movie and the fourth movie, there is that parallel to the last movie where people were like cold to Harry, but in this sense it's because he is spreading fiction according to these people. The Ministry of Magic is keeping things hush hush and is trying to put a blanket over the public. He is trying to, because this is the thing, darkness prevailed 14 years back, so he's trying to, he thinks this is the best option, but it's not. Especially if rumors do get out, and there's a side of people who are saying, but what if? And then there are those like the Ministry, like the people at Hogwarts. They're like, he's not back. This is all just lies. But it's going to create that split, and even even that split that does believe Harry, is gonna there's a portion of that's going to develop some fear. So, yeah, he might have thought that was the best option. It wasn't. It wasn't. It's just like Boris Johnson thinking herd immunity is a good idea, but we're not going to get into that topic. Yeah, it was a very, very great movie. I loved it. We had the prophecy thing, with that little orb as well, which I'm gonna guess that's obviously in relation to into the final film, because we've got 6, which is in technicality a penultimate movie, and then we've got 7. Even though 7-1 is the penultimate movie, I know 7 is split into 2 parts. So, because that's the reason why I'm saying 6 is the penultimate on the technicality, because you're splitting 7. So, if you bridge them to get I'm imagining 7.2 is not going to be like Endgame, whereas it's split into 2 different stories. It's the same story, but the runtime was probably a bit long, so they had to split it into 2. But I'm sure the Harry Potter fans wouldn't mind. I mean, like Endgame, I wouldn't have minded if it was 5 hours, to be fair. But yeah, we had the prophecy saying that you have to kill, one of you will die, one of you will live, basically. See, this is the thing. There is that expectancy that Harry's gonna prevail because, the hero has to win, surely. But what if they pull out a surprise and have Harry die? Because, something like that is quite... What's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't have much substance saying, okay, well, one of you's gonna live and one of you's going to die. And if you're expecting this to be in relation to their final battle, you gotta think, well, Harry's surely gotta win. But what if they just decide to, throw a huge curveball and have Harry die and then Voldemort wins? But Voldemort will... I don't know. I'm just thinking there's going to be some kind of huge curveball that's going to be thrown at me. Because that prophecy is kind of is kind of lacking in substance. If you from a narrative point of view, you're thinking, okay, well, it's pretty easy to kind of decipher. So what if they throw a curveball to be like, whoa? So yeah, I wasn't expecting Sirius to die in this film whatsoever, but yeah, that happened, and by his own cousin as well. So, who is a strange one. But yeah, it was just really, it was just really, really, it was really, really intense, that final battle. It really was. We had the Death Eaters and you had the Order fight off against each other, and then the battle with Dumbledore and Voldemort was just visually stunning. And you have 2 titans fighting off against each other. It is just mental. Someone of Dumbledore's capability and, of course, Voldemort, it's just very intense. It's just a very, very tantalizing prospect, and it was really, really good, especially seeing how Dumbledore converted those shards into little particles, I think it was, so it wouldn't pierce him, of course. And then you had Voldemort try to like take Harry. He noticed the connection, and he was taking control of Harry bit by bit, seeping into his memories. And there was that like comparison, like, what if me and Voldemort aren't that different? And there was that worry that that maybe that is the case. So yeah, with him seeping into his memories. And I really loved that montage. It made me very emotional. I mean, I was already emotional with Sirius's death, so that was like just pushing my buttons. Him reflecting on his early memories with Hermione and Ron, with his family, with everyone. And there's that difference there. You've got something to fight for. You've got people who you love. Voldemort Voldemort doesn't really give a toss about them. He doesn't really ask how your day is, etc. They're basically his subjects. No one considers Voldemort a best friend. I doubt. So yeah. Honestly, I was expecting Voldemort wasn't going to really be that much included. It was just going to be the scenes in connection, like the scenes of Harry just seeing him, like at the station, for example, which I think I correctly predicted regarding his encounter with Voldemort in the last movie. But I also really liked how from the last movie, should I say, what happened to Cedric had a toll on Harry's mental stability. This is it. Harry was in a really difficult place in this movie. He was very there was a lot of Dumbledore was giving him the cold shoulder. He was being credited as a liar. He felt alone. He was going through the ringer mentally, and it didn't help that bitch Umbridge, decided to abuse him. So yeah, because he's still a kid at the end of the day, and she's supposedly a teacher, but like I said, some government officials have this stance where it's like one rule for me, one rule for everyone else, because we're that up our own asses. And the Ministry are like really good, they're really good examples of that. You had Fudge, who was, like I said, dismissal about the idea that Voldemort returned, and then he saw him. I mean, I guess it's like, I'll see it with my own eyes, but this is it. Like, no one knew what happened to Cedric in the last movie except Harry. Yet, the Ministry have this authority to discredit him. The Daily Prophet, they decided to, I guess that's kind of relevant to some journalists. Like, some journalists out there will just manufacture a story for whatever means. Like, they will exaggerate the truth. They'll create bullshit lies. So, it's kind of, it's kind of like 50-50 with journalists. Like, they can either tell the truth, or they can either go on the opposite end of the spectrum and either create false headlines or manipulate a story for their own for their own greed. So yeah. But yeah, they were like, the Ministry were just pushing it in this. But yeah, I really loved the involvement with certain characters as well. Like, because I felt like people like Snape, like Filch, I guess, as well. They had a bit of a push in this movie compared to other movies. I mean, apart from Snape in the first movie, because there was the assumption that he was the villain. And not just Snape and Filch as well, Neville as well. Like, there was some big development there when they were going through their own Defense of the Dark Arts classes, which was a very, very nice sequence of events, and I really loved it. It was really It was really good, and I think it was the push that Harry needed, especially with that isolated feeling. This was the push that he needed to lead a class because A, they weren't getting educated properly, and B, for selfish means, but selfish isn't always bad. Harry was having that was having that support, was having that like backing from a lot of people, and like I said, I think it really pays. I think it pays homage to, I think, a lot of kids' dreams. Like, their teacher is one of their own rather than someone who is more qualified, for example. Especially in this movie, someone who is an absolute, like, I feel like there's this idea that you, like, as a child, there are some teachers who you think are very, very monstrous. I mean, in this movie, Umbridge was definitely monstrous, but from a child's perception, a certain teacher might be a pain in the ass, but your opinions might change when you grow older. Like, your opinion as an adult will significantly alter, possibly. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people would has always, like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people idolize the concept of one of your own teaching your own class, but in this case Harry has an idea about, like, kids in a normal sense, they probably might not have an idea unless they are very, very expert in one specific subject. Harry definitely is very like, has that expertise regarding the dark arts. So yeah, I really liked those sequence of events, which led to a short Cho and Harry romance before that got, like, crushed because of the whole incident with her revealing to Umbridge and co. that there was the secret class going on. Woo. I would have liked to have seen more of Malfoy and co. Like, be Umbridge's henchmen. I mean, we saw them, like, get rewarded, etc. from Umbridge. They were very decorated in Umbridge's eyes. But I would have loved to have seen more of Malfoy and co. act as Umbridge's unofficial henchmen, I guess. To kind of escalate things with Harry and Malfoy's rivalry, because I would love to see a bit of development of that. But I am not complaining about the development we got regarding Snape, regarding Neville, because I'm glad we had that, especially Snape, where we got to see in a flashback of his that James, Harry's dad, was bullying Snape, and it kind of sets, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like there's obviously a lot more to explore regarding Snape's past in the books, etc. And I feel like there's like an anthology regarding Snape was like, this is a child, etc. I would just like to imagine that Snape was a completely different person to what he is now. Like, he is a very dark and serious, like, who doesn't tolerate any crap demeanor going on. But I'd like to think there's a complete contrast, because and he has shifted into this more serious presence because of the amount of crap he received from people like James. So yeah, but there is there's a bit of a sprinkling there regarding his I guess reaction to Harry. He's not relying too much on how James treated him, but I mean, I think he did make a comment about how he was just like his dad, so yeah. But yeah, this was probably my third favorite movie. Like the second movie, I'll have to decide on where I will officially place that. Because I did love the fourth movie so much. I really loved the sequences of tournaments, and like the 4 other movies, this movie felt completely different, especially with the controversy going on regarding Dumbledore and how the Ministry of Magic was taking control of Hogwarts, with Umbridge being the headmistress. And you had this group in order to try and stop Voldemort, the Order of the Phoenix, which I feel like we could have gotten a bit more on that as well, but I don't know. I feel like because we had Lupin return, we had some people return, like Lupin and Moody, the actual Moody this time, no Barty Crouch Jr. And I would have loved to have seen more Lupin, because I thought he was a very exceptional he was a very exceptional character in the 3rd movie, in The Prisoner of Azkaban. So I'm kind of disappointed we didn't get too much on him, but I am glad that we got a bit of, like, more serious before his demise, which, yeah, it was very powerful. Like, the audio was completely silent when Harry screamed, and it was just very very heartbreaking, that sudden, like, stillness from Sirius when Bellatrix killed him. So yeah, whew. Yeah, it was a very, very tense movie, but yeah, on the serious subject, I'm just sad that he's dead, like, because Harry's lost the closest he's had to family, because the Dursleys, yeah, and it was an annoyance to see him, to see them again. Especially Dudley, who has grown up a bit. He's gone through, like, the joys of puberty, but he is a very, very intolerable piece of shit still. Especially with how he pinned the whole Dementor thing on Harry. Like, this was, oh, Harry did this to me, etc. I mean, it was no surprise, but still. And it's not like that landed him in trouble or anything, because I think they picked up on Harry, like, they detected Harry using the Expecto Patronus spell. Yeah, they detected that anyway. So, but yeah, the trial thing was yeah, I thought it was going to be completely against Harry, but thankfully it wasn't, and Harry was reinstated into Hogwarts. Yeah, like, I thought, like, okay, well, this is very, very shitty, because he's not going to let a mortal die, but they didn't get the full clarification regarding why he used the Expecto Patronus spell on the Dementors. Like, they didn't get the full, like, clarification, it seemed, but still, because the Ministry suck big time. So yeah, I'm not giving them the benefit, like, of anything. Like, they can piss off. I'm not being kind to them. So yeah, especially with Umbridge. Hoy, I have never been so pissed off to a certain character in quite some time. In this movie, like, she did a lot of heinous shit. Like, she was strolling into Hogwarts hoping to collect the biggest bitch of the year award. I don't know when this movie came out. I think it came out 2007, 2008. But she was being groomed to be the biggest bitch on the planet for that year. Maybe for a long time, because my blood was boiling. I fucking hated her. I wanted to strangle her. She was pissing me off so much. And she was very abusive to Harry. She had that smug demeanor on her. And yeah, she was just an overall cold bitch who Yeah. Bloody hated her. Oof. I'm glad those centaurs took care of her, but you know, like I said, I don't care what happens to her. She's a lost cause, and her parents probably thought that as well. So, anyways, it was pretty good. I liked the scene with Sirius as well, talking to Harry regarding um Harry's worries of him being like Voldemort, and there was that beautiful quote that Sirius mentioned, and I really liked it. It was a really, I mean, it did help in terms. I think there was a bit of potency as well regarding Harry's encounter with Voldemort later in the movie. Um, as well as them, as well as with the whole family shtick and like his connection with Harry. That's kind of like that kind of builds to his death as well. But yeah, I thought that speech, that quote that Sirius used on Harry was really beautiful, and it was probably my favorite scene, barring the final stretch of fights. It was my favorite scene of the whole movie because it was just really emotional and it really tugged at the heartstrings, and it was really beautifully worded. So I really liked it, and yeah, it was really brilliantly acted as well. But yeah, this was good. Luna, I love her. She is a very amazing character who we have to protect at all costs. I kind of ship her with Harry, to be fair. Like, there's a few parallels going on, but they do click as well. So yeah, and I think they have a bit more chemistry than Harry and Cho, to be fair. So yeah, I can see them clicking on if she doesn't if she does return on, I guess, the same level of screen time as in this movie or longer. But yeah, the lessons with Snape as well when he was trying to protect Harry's mind from Voldemort was really good as well. I really liked seeing them two interact as well, like them two getting a bit closer in terms of like interactions with each other. It's very harsh, but I mean, he made some really good points. The enemy doesn't sleep. I mean, and this is Snape in a nutshell. He's a very, very strict. He doesn't tolerate any shenanigans, etc. He's that kind of character. And it's not to say it's a bad thing, like a bad trait, etc. But that's it. He doesn't tolerate any shenanigans whatsoever, and just close that down a bit, because it's getting too bright. And yeah, he was very, very strict, but sometimes you have to be strict, especially on a scale of Voldemort. Like, he knows of how dangerous Voldemort is, and like you said, the enemy doesn't sleep, and life isn't fair. So yeah, got a Lion King vibe from that, just with the way Alan Rickman was like, life isn't fair. So yeah, like Scar from the Lion King. Yeah. But this was a very, very good movie. Like I said, it brought some very memorable characters like Luna and Umbridge, Bellatrix as well, who I'm assuming we're definitely going to be seeing since she's, I think, a Death Eater. Yeah, we're definitely going to be seeing her again, and there's going to be some real there's going to be some kind of resolution that Harry hopes to seek regarding Bellatrix. Like, he could have at that moment, but that would have allowed Voldemort to win. So yeah, but it was really good, and I thought it was like I said, the final stretch of battles was really good stuff as well. So I really loved the visuals, especially from Dumbledore and Voldemort's fight, the Order of the Phoenix, as well as against the Death Eaters was really good stuff as well. And yeah, it was just really phenomenal stuff. So I'm really excited to see what happens in the next movie. Like I said, it ended on a bit, like, I don't know if it ended on a more somber note than than the fourth movie, because Cedric, I think that was the catalyst. Like, that was where you sensed, okay, well, things are not going to be as rosy as they were in the previous three movies. It's gotten real now. And that was Cedric's death. With Sirius's death in this movie, Harry has lost the closest thing he's had to family. I mean, I guess he could consider the people like Hermione and Ron, etc. They are his family as well, but on a on a relatable level, on in the aspect of relatives, yeah, Sirius was the closest he had to family on that aspect, and now that's gone, and yeah, he's just had that, like, very well, now the Ministry has finally taken note on the fact that Voldemort's there, so there's going to be extra precautions surely being taken. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what happens next time on Harry Potter. 3 movies to go, and I'm just loving this. I'm loving this franchise so much. I'm more and more and more becoming a fan of this, and I'm not complaining whatsoever. And this movie really helped pull me into the franchise a bit more, in terms of, like, because they just keep pulling me further and further. Like, this franchise just keeps pulling me into loving it, and I'm really loving what we're getting. So yeah, I can't wait to see what happens in I think it's the Half-Blood Prince, the 6th film. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. But until the next time, I will see you guys next time. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. I'll move this here, but it doesn't matter anyways, because yeah. But you can check my videos on the right if you want to check out more of my content. You can also subscribe to my media feeds and channel if you want to. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. Hope you guys take care, and I will see you guys next time. Toodles!